much again for joining us this evening. We really hope that you are enjoying your dinner, and please keep eating right now. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is leading the way the world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer and other life-threatening diseases. When St. Jude opened its doors back in 1962, the overall survival rate for childhood cancer was just 20%. Today, because of donors like all of you, treatments invented at St. Jude have helped to cure overall childhood cancer survival rates to more than 80%, and they will not stop until no child dies from cancer. Because of the majority of St. Jude funding, and it comes from contributions like the ones that you're making here tonight, like yourselves and all that you're doing, St. Jude has the freedom to focus on what matters most, and that is saving kids regardless of their financial situation. Thanks to your generous support, families never get a bill from St. Jude for treatment or for travel, housing, or food, because all a family should ever have to worry about is helping to make sure that their child lives. St. Jude has treated patients from all 50 states and all over the world. Doctors often send their toughest cases to St. Jude because they have the world's best survival rates for some of the most aggressive childhood cancers. St. Jude also does something that is really amazing. They take what they know, they take all of their discoveries, and they share it so that doctors and scientists all over the world can use the knowledge to save thousands of other children, including many local patients who are being treated right here in the Syracuse area, and they are doing it on St. Jude protocol. Before we begin our program right now, we would like to take a moment to thank our committee members who make this wonderful event a reality every single year. If you are part of the Gala committee, please stand right now. Your passion and your dedication to the kids of St. Jude is unparalleled, as shown in the success of this event year after year. Let's give them a round of applause. This really is an amazing event every single year. Our committee has worked very hard over the past few months to ensure that we had the support of local businesses as sponsors for this year's event. We would like to thank all of our 2019 event sponsors. We are so extremely grateful for each company that has stepped up to support all of the research and everything that St. Jude Children's Hospital Research is doing. You can find a full list of all of the sponsors right now in your program tonight. Right now, it is my honor to invite Joe Rossi up here on the stage. You know him, he is the committee chair, and he is going to present this year's award. So let's give him a huge round of applause.
How's everyone doing tonight? Everyone doing good? Feeling good? Good. Let's hear it for Lisa Spitz. How about that? We were fortunate to have her for a few years. We're very lucky. I'd like to recognize some friends in the room. Did we recognize that Lawrence Moten's here? Did we mention that Lawrence Moten's here? All-time leading scorer for Syracuse University Baseball. It's like a big deal. Rob Drummond's here. Who remembers Rob Drummond, the man? SU, James Mungro, Ryan Blackwell. I like that. I'd also like to recognize some friends in the room. Onondaga County District Attorney Bill Fitzpatrick, thank you for being with us tonight. Onondaga County Executive Ryan McMahon, who's kind enough to be here with us. Thank you, Ryan. And the man they named this place after, Nick Piro's here. Everyone say hi to Nick Piro. They call it the Nicholas J. Piro Convention Center, but we affectionately call it the Nick. As many of you know, this event began in 2005 as a dinner in memory of my mom and dad. Over the years, people ask, why St. Jude? And I've had a variation of different answers on that. But I think all of us have had a loved one deal with cancer. And truthfully, I started this because cancer took my parents, and I couldn't accept that. If cancer had been a corporation, I would have spent my life forcing it into bankruptcy. If cancer were a foreign country, I would have enlisted to serve for a chance to get even. But cancer is a hidden, mysterious disease that doesn't discriminate from rich or poor, man or woman, or the young and old. So I dedicated myself to raising money for the world leader in researching and treating cancer, so one day cancer would die. Cancer started a fight with my family and many of yours too, but by God's grace, we'll finish that fight. Since we started this event in 2005, we have raised over $500,000 for St. Jude. Give yourselves a round of applause for that. A few years back, we felt it was time to change the name of the event from the Dominic and Patricia Rossi Memorial Dinner to the Syracuse for St. Jude Gala, to make it more welcoming and fully open to all of Syracuse. And to continue to remember my mom and dad, we named an award in their honor and gave it to someone we felt deserved it. Past recipients of the Dominic and Patricia Rossi Award are St. Jude committee members and supporters like Tony Martin and my pal Mark Bullis. Where's Bully at? And the best lawyer in Syracuse, Mike Allen. He made me say that. Uncle Emil, I didn't. He made me. All right, so 2 years ago, we held the biggest and most successful event for St. Jude in Central New York history in this room when we raised $146,000 that night. Before we got here tonight, all of us, we have already raised $87,000. And that doesn't count the upcoming Give to Live and the silent auction. We weren't able to have a gala last year because of some fakakta bowling tournament, but I won't go off about that right now. And at our last gala, we were honored to have our buddy, Officer Colin, here. Colin Hayward Tolan was diagnosed with a brain tumor at just 2 years old. Thanks to St. Jude, he was able to prolong his life and jam as much living into his short years as possible. Colin has been to many of our dinners. We consider him a friend. And as many of you know, Officer Colin passed away just over a year ago. He's in a better place, I promise. He was only 10 and was a little guy, but he made a big impression on everyone he met. I especially admired that despite his tumors and his surgeries and chemo, that he still loved life and lived it to the fullest. I know people in their 60s who haven't done as much in their life as that little man did. I've met many tough people in my life, from athletes to boxers to soldiers to Bill Fitzpatrick. Colin is by far the toughest person I have ever met, with all due respect. It was on our heart building up to this night to honor our friend Colin, so tonight, for the first time, we'll be changing the name of this award and present the first ever Officer Colin Hayward Tolan Award. This year we honor a person completely deserving of that recognition for his silent yet significant support for St. Jude, my buddy Aaron Harris. Aaron has been instrumental in the success of these galas for many years. For those of you who don't know Aaron, he is the president of Elder Choice, a home health care agency covering Central New York. Since he attended his first dinner probably 7-8 years ago, Aaron has helped as a committee member grow this event to what it is today. In the last few years, he's been blessed to be married and have a son, but still dedicates his time to help raise money for St. Jude. Quite frankly, these events don't happen without his tenacity and the tenacity of our committee members. By the way, we're always looking for more. Aaron has become a true friend to me personally, which is rare. Aaron's faith and silent service are what I aspire to someday. So before I call him up to accept this award, friends, if you'll indulge me, please raise your glass as we toast Aaron in the spirit of Officer Colin. May this annual award become a blessing for the Hayward Tolan family amidst their grief. May you go home and hug your kids and thank God for their health. May you call your parents and tell them you love them. May we all enjoy this evening to the fullest and give generously. And may these galas inspire you all to help fight back against cancer, whatever way you choose. Salute. Ladies and gentlemen, the man in the evening and the recipient of the Officer Colin Award, Dr. Aaron Harris.
My boy, Rossi, you are my boy. This is amazing. I'm not a doctor, by the way. I don't know why he insists. He calls me Dr. Damage, but this is a very special thing for me. Thank you, Joe. I'm going to try to be very brief tonight. I do want to share a few things, but before I do, I'd like to acknowledge some of the people that make this event such a huge success every year. First and foremost, I want to recognize Joe and Amy Rossi. None of us would even be here tonight if it wasn't for their hearts to serve others, their vision for this event, and the countless hours that the two of them have invested in this cause over the past 12 years. I'd like to thank my fellow committee members who've given of their time and talents this past year. You guys are amazing, all of you, and I consider it a privilege to serve with you. I'd also like to thank our sponsors. As Lisa pointed out, we could never do this event without you, and I hope you know how very, very grateful we are for your support and generosity. A special thanks goes to my sister, who also happens to be my business partner, Tara Graham, for her willingness to support this great cause with me year after year. To the St. Jude staff, Elise, Nicole, Fran, Tim, and many others who faithfully provide all of us on the committee with the tools, support, and logistical excellence to pull this night off. Thank you. I also want to give a quick shout out to my man Jeremy Allen and the rest of the fellows for livening up our cocktail hour every year. I appreciate you guys. And lastly, and most importantly to me, I'd like to thank my beautiful wife Maria for being such a constant source of encouragement to me and for making my life better in pretty much every possible way. Every time I attend this event, I'm reminded just how special this night really is. And that's because I believe this night has always been about one very special thing, and that is honor. You see, as Joe pointed out, this event first began as a way to honor the memory of his parents. And for those of us who know and love Rossi, this night will always have that added special meaning. Over the past 12 years, this event has also honored an incredible organization that is committed to a single mission: to find cures and save children. And when we all support St. Jude financially, we get the opportunity to participate in that mission. And most importantly, every year, we honor those brave kids and their families who've had to fight a battle that no child should ever have to fight. So tonight, while it may be my name on this evening's program, I think we can all agree who the real honoree of this year's event is, and that's Officer Colin, and every other brave kid who is currently fighting or who has ever had to fight a battle with childhood cancer. Now, unfortunately, I never had the chance to meet Colin personally, so all I know about him are the things others have shared with me, or what has been written about him. One article I read in particular stood out to me, and it wrote simply that Colin wanted to help make the world a better place. And I believe that alone says so much about the type of young person he was. At just 10 years old, that little guy wanted to change the world. Officer Colin also probably understood more about honor and duty than some adults I know. He understood that honor is about staying committed to a cause even when it becomes uncomfortable. That cause for him was to be a part of his local law enforcement, to protect and serve those in his community. Colin was an extraordinary young man. I once heard it said that being extraordinary is not necessarily only about doing extraordinary things, but rather it's often about doing the ordinary things extraordinarily well. And I believe there's so much truth to that. Sometimes I think we assume that in order to have an incredible impact on the world, we have to do something extraordinary, when in reality, it's often those simple, ordinary things done with consistency, passion, and commitment that can make the biggest difference in the long run. Because at least to me, being extraordinary, especially these days, means being someone who consistently demonstrates everyday acts of kindness, generosity, service, and honor to others, regardless of the challenges they may be facing personally. I think it's pretty obvious that Officer Colin displayed all these qualities and more, and as a result, he made quite an impact on a lot of people. Every year I leave here inspired by the stories that I hear, the videos like that one that we see, that tell of the courage, the positive attitudes, and the endurance of these incredible kids and their families who have had to walk such a difficult road, and yet somehow seem to do it with almost superhuman strength and composure. I hope you all enjoy the rest of tonight, and I hope that all of us can remember the feeling of unity that is in the room tonight as we come together around this very important cause. I don't think it's any secret that our divided world desperately needs more extraordinary people right now who are willing to set aside their own differences and unite for a greater purpose. So let's give big tonight, just like we've always done and just like we always do. Let's do our part to make this world a better place, just like Officer Colin, and let's start tonight by helping St. Jude put an end to childhood cancer once and for all. Thank you.